around those. Number one, always have a buyer in the contract. The best piece of advice I can give you is if you don't have a contract to sell your product, don't plant it. The hemp market in Texas and around the nation is relatively new and therefore unsettled. New uses of the products are emerging, but they're not yet fully established. There's new producers and processors and a web of state and federal regulations to consider. And market saturation could be a real problem. As you know, if a farmer thinks he can make a huge profit on the crop, he'll plant the world level with it. So don't get stuck with a product and know where to sell it. Number two, be on the lookout for fraud. As usual, with any new emerging industries, there's a risk of fraud. Do your research and make sure you buy hemp seeds or plants from only reputable dealers and only sell to reputable buyers. Hemp requires very high inputs, and unfortunately, there's always someone out there looking to take advantage of it. There are many dealers and processors across this country that are working hard to establish an honest hemp industry. So, do your research. Number three, growing concerns. Now, let's be clear, hemp's relatively new to Texas. As such, there's not a lot of data to know how different varieties will react to our Texas climate. Research from other states show that when varieties do well in one type of soil or climate, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do well everywhere you plant. Our unpredictable Texas weather can cause some major problems in your crops' Delta-9 THC levels. For example, 1 week of good old Texas drought might spike the THC levels too high, making your crop illegal. On the other hand, hemp doesn't like wet feed, so excessive soil moisture can diminish your yield. Remember, your crop's going to be tested before harvest to make sure it's not above the 0.3 THC level. So while state law doesn't require you to monitor those THC levels during production, you might consider investing in periodic testing to see how your variety is reacting to local soil and the local weather. Number four, pest and disease. Some might have you believe that hemp's not prone to diseases and there's no known insects that will affect hemp. That's all baloney. Let me tell you, neighbor, don't believe that. Hemp's just like any other crop. It can be attacked by several plant diseases, including southern blight, leaf spot. Hemp's susceptible to all kinds of infestations of earworm, fall armyworm, and a host of others. Now, the EPA is currently approving new pesticides for use on hemp. It's not approved yet, but stay tuned. As of today, there's no pesticides approved for use on hemp in Texas. Keep that in mind. As you consider jumping into industrial hemp, remember that with all those promises of high profits comes high risk. Hopefully I've drawn your attention to some of those risks so you can make informed decisions. Here's a couple more tips to remember. Do your research. Don't overload your boat. Data shows that the most successful growers produce 3 acres or less. Don't bite off more than you can chew. 2, know your buyer. Get a contract with a processor. Understand the terms of that contract. Number 3, and as always, don't spend any more money on this crop than you can afford to lose. Hey, you want to watch a good video on growing hemp? Go to YouTube, look for Hemp for Victory. It's made in 1940. Best video I've seen on growing hemp. Check it out.
Hilarious.
As your ag commissioner, I've been a long-time advocate of giving Texas farmers the chance to grow industrial hemp. I'm excited this time has finally come. I hope this video will give you the tools you need to succeed. On behalf of everyone here at the Texas Department of Agriculture, thank you. And remember, friends, Texas agriculture matters. If you would like more information on the Texas Department of Agriculture website at texasagriculture.gov or reach out to one of our TDA staff. We're here to help.
So we brought some tools to help you this morning. We have printed off and answered every question that we can possibly think of. It's about 13 pages. So somewhere, I guess out the front door, Freddie, right out at the reception desk out here is a stack of those frequently asked questions. So pick those up, take them home, read through them. You might learn something. And they're on the ends down here too. He's holding one up. And we also have a set of our proposed rules. If you hadn't seen those, get you a copy of those. Some people that I didn't introduce, and I won't ask them to talk, but we have several members of my hemp advisory committee here. If y'all would stand up and let us recognize you. I see Lisa, and where is I saw Ken. Y'all stand up if you're on the advisory committee. Okay. Eloise, stand up. She's the head honcho, so she's running it. But she also has a nonprofit organization called Texas Hemp. Theo, tell me what it is. Texas Hemp Educational Organization. So she's gathering membership for that, and she's helping us get the word out. And she has another project she's working on. So if you have a chance, be sure and visit with Eloise. So what we're doing is the USDA came out with their guidelines. Once we got those, we could start understanding what kind of guidelines we needed to come up with. Well, we thought we'd be ready to roll by mid-February, but the USDA shoved their comment period out 30 days, so that moved the whole calendar down. So we pulled ours down, did some tweaking on it, put it back up. We're on schedule. If everything goes right, we'll be able to issue a license for your farm sometime early to mid-March. So I think we'll still be there for spring planting. So what you'll do is you'll have to watch an educational video and answer a questionnaire. And if you pass, we figure, well, they're smart enough to grow hemp, so we'll let you fill out an application for a license, okay? You fill that out, we get you registered. We're going to have to do a background check. If you've had a drug conviction or anything, like that, well, you're not going to get one. Just tell you that right up front. Once you get your license, then you're going to have to register your plot. Let me kind of explain the difference. So a license is for your farm, and the plot is for the 10 acres you're going to plant or the 100 acres, but your farm may be a 640 acres. And the reason you have to register that whole farm, anytime this hemp product moves, we've got to know it and know where it is. So you're going to order seed and put them in the barn. It's going to cross your place. It may not be in your field yet, or seedlings and put in your greenhouse, or sprout them yourself. Then you're going to go to your plot. You have to get a number for that, and we have to give you a QR code. We're going to have to track that the entire life of that crop that's on that 10 acres. And then you're going to harvest it, and you're going to take it back across the farm, into the barn, dry it, etc., etc. So it's kind of confusing. Why do I need a license and a permit? Well, that's why. License the whole farm, and then register the acreage that you're going to actually plant. When you get ready to harvest, the USDA guidelines, and ours align with it, you're going to have to take an official sample by an official licensed sampler, send it to a licensed lab, approved lab, and get it tested for THC. Now, once that sample is pulled, you've got 15 days to harvest it. And if you don't, we start over, and you have to get another test and send it off. Looks like there's going to be plenty of labs available. I was a little worried about that. We will not be pulling the samples. You can contract with the lab to have someone come out and sample it, or you can contract with someone in the private sector, private industry to come out and pull your sample. What we will do is we will do the training and certify those people that pull the samples. All right. I think anybody want to add anything else? Freddie? Yeah, if you raise your hand, Freddie will bring you these frequently asked questions. We're right up through the center here. All right. And if he misses you, we've got some down here out front. All right, let's get this show on the road. Here you go, Tim.
Folks, I want to tell you a little bit more about this process. And we end up with, at TDA, in drafting the final rules for the state of Texas. But we have to follow the pattern, the pattern already laid out by that U.S. 2018 Farm Bill, where we have to go according to the federal law. And the United States Department of Agriculture puts out their rules, and we have to follow those rules. And then the state of Texas, of course, has a statute from, I think it was Senate Bill 1325 or House Bill, I forget which, and that got turned into statute in Texas, and we have to follow those rules. And then we build this final set of proposed rules from those three sources, and of course, your comments, industrial comments and things of that nature. So, a lot of the content that you will see in these proposed rules And we've got a copy here, and so if you need those, you can get them. You can go on our website and get them. They're filed with the Texas Register of the state of Texas. You can get them there. And those proposed rules are out. And they are based upon those prior